on into another episode of Getting Well with Terry and Friends. I'm Terry, joined by Kevin. Picks from Dave, of course, Ryan, and Occupancy down below. Kevin, I know you came on a preview show. I believe it was with me and Nick. But if you wanted to say hello to the viewers and maybe say a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thanks for having me on, Terry. So I'm Kevin. I've been capping for about 6 years now. I played hockey growing up, so hockey's my main sport. I live in Arizona, so I'm unfortunately a Coyotes fan, but hopefully we have a bright future. And I occasionally cap NBA, MLB, and NFL as well.
Awesome. You have to be happy with, I don't know. I shouldn't say you have to be happy with your Coyotes being where they are because they're not in the Bedard sweepstakes right now where they kind of should be, but performing well, surprisingly. Right
now. Yeah, they've been stealing a little bit of coin. I haven't partaked in that, but it's kind of cool to see.
For sure. We'll start the show as we usually do, taking a look at the current record, and then we'll go to the chat. It was a rough day yesterday for the show. Sadly, unfortunately, only one dog won in the NHL yesterday, and that just happened to be the Coyotes. So dog of the day obviously took a big hit, but it is a long season ahead, and I'm not worried about it at all. We'll bounce back. Looking at NHL overall down, sadly, currently at the moment. But as I said, long season. Some of us doing well. Some of us, like myself, not doing so well. But we'll definitely get there. Going on to NBA, profitable. All three categories currently. NBA is going well to start the season. NFL, over-under, best bets, going well. Dog of the day, a little bit down. No big deal there. NFL still profitable. College football, I believe it's changed a little bit, but not too much here overall. Profitable overall in college football. College basketball, dog of the day going well. Over-under going really well. Best bets, off to a little bit of a rough start. But like I said, with hockey too, it's a long season. There's only 7 best bets there. So there'll be a lot more than 7 by the time we're all said and done. And then other sports is exactly the same as it was currently. Going to the chat quickly, Isaac says it's time to fade a boost. And then he put in this one here, Barstool boost, Leafs, Lightning, Stars, Kraken, all to win, plus 800. Who or whom will screw it up? And then I said, yes, that's a fade boost. Now, I'm assuming everybody's going to say, hey, he's saying that because the Kraken are on here. But that is not true. When I look at betting a boost, I'm betting a boost on something that is boosted that I like. So I need to like everything in the boost. Leafs and Lightning tonight, I'll give a quick preview before we get to those games. I don't really have much of an opinion on. So I'm not going to bet this boost because there's 2 games I'm not sure on. So if you're betting a boost, I get why people like to fade boosts overall, but I only bet a boost if it's something that includes everything I like. So if I like all 3-4 things that are included in the boost, then I'll consider betting on them. But otherwise, no. I personally see the Leafs and Kraken losing. Holy hell, 5 guys. I haven't seen Kevin the longest. And I'm in the red. Hey, look at your best bet record, Isaacs. It's absolutely amazing. I wish I had that record, but we'll move on to the first game and look at the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Washington Capitals. Tampa Bay minus 135 to minus 150. Washington plus 110 to plus 121. Sixes right across the board. I see 1.6.5 available in this game as well. And like I said, I don't really have a good read in this game. I could see either side winning. I could see a 3-3 overtime game. I could see a 5-0 blowout. Like I have no really good read in this game. So I'm going to pass the game along to others, and we'll see if others have a good opinion on this game. We'll start with Kevin. What do you think here? Lightning and Capitals.
Yeah, this was a tough one to cap for sure. My lean here is the Capitals, though. It's not an official play for me, but I do see them spoiling that boost. So I'm definitely not playing that boost. But one thing that was appealing to me in this one was 4 out of the last 10 of these matchups between the two teams went to overtime. And 3 of those 4 were in Washington. So I'm actually putting a quarter unit on the draw at plus 330. I really like that play. And then I also saw that the Lightning are 6-15 in the last 21 meetings in Washington. So staying away from a side here, but I do like that draw.
Awesome. Another draw better on the show. I love it. Best of luck. Dave, Lightning, Capitals. Any thoughts here?
Yeah, I only have one hockey play, and it's not this game, and that one's been forced upon me. But I'd lean to the under because Vaseline's in goal, right?
Vasilevsky is starting. Yeah. Yes, correct.
Okay, so
I think so. Actually, I think so. Hold on, I should make sure that.
See all the good points I bring up. I hope you.
He's unconfirmed.
All right, so I don't have a play in this game. I'd lean under just because the Capitals aren't scoring goals in droves, and Vaseline's in goal, and then the Capitals give up 3 goals a game, which is kind of right in the middle. So if you can get a 6.5, maybe, but I'm not betting it. That's just my lean.
All right, Ryan, Lightning, Capitals. What do you think about this game? Are you muted? Still shows. Oh, you should be good now.
Yeah. All right, sorry about that. I don't have a play on the side or the total. It's going to be an interesting game. It looks like John Carlson's going to be back for the Caps, and no Peter Laviolette on the bench who has COVID. But I don't think that's a betting angle because the Jets had that situation, and it didn't affect their performance. The one thing I like on this, actually a couple things, are Brandon Hagel points. He seems to be mispriced. He plays on the top line and on the top power play unit, and you can get 2 points for plus 500. And that same wager is plus 200 for Braden Point. So I don't understand that. So I'm going to put a sprinkle on that. Connor Sherry, a point is plus 112. Seems like a good value there. He's on the top line. Or you can go for 2 points for him at plus 700. So saw some value there. That's all I'm playing.
Wow, very nice. Occupancy, Lightning, Capitals. What do you think here?
Yeah, what's up, Terry? What's up, everyone? Happy to be on the show again. What's up to the chat, Richie P, Icex. Make sure you like, subscribe. This slate, this game. I remember, Lightning Oilers game was in a primetime spot on a huge card, and we finally get a smaller card. So this is just a great game to tune into as a hockey fan. I'm not really looking towards a side in this one. I lean Caps, but I'm probably not going to bet it. One thing I have been looking at is a lot of shot data. I'm always looking at that. And Tampa in their last 2, 37 and 30 shots for. And they're hanging a 25.5 for Kemper's save prop. I've been looking at, a bunch of save props, and I lost my best bet on the show yesterday. Vitek Vanacek went down, but I had Ilya Sorokin over his 25.5 saves yesterday, and that hit. It's a minus 136, so you'd either have to buy up or accept some juice here. But Darcy Kemper has hit this in 3 of his last 4, and almost every game this season, he's gone over 25.5 saves. So that's the way I would look towards this. Like I said, I lean the Capitals, but I'm probably not going to bet it.
Yeah, I noticed that when I was doing the best bet standings. I'm like, had you not got injured, you would have won. It's just it was a bad night, but it happens, right? When we move on to today's slate. Next up, we have another good game. There's a pretty good slate for tonight's 4 small game slate on Friday. We have the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Toronto Maple Leafs. You can get Pittsburgh plus 125 to plus 130. Toronto minus 149 to minus 163. 6.5s right across the board. in this one here. Like the first game, with Pittsburgh, I was fading them during their losing streak. And then now I have seen them win one game. I'm not sure if I'm ready to jump on them here. If I was going to bet anything in this game, it would be Pittsburgh at the plus price. Toronto, a difficult team for me to figure out. They kind of get up to play these teams for some teams, and then other teams, the bad teams in the league, they just don't show up against. So I could see the Leafs showing up to this one. I could see this being a close game, but ultimately nothing at the moment. Something's telling me Crosby has a good game in this one. So Melissa, if you're watching, I think Crosby prop here, maybe over 1.5 points. When I get to my point parlay after the show, I'll probably have him to get a point in my parlay as well. I think Crosby has a good night here. But overall, no official picks in this one. Kev, Pittsburgh, Toronto, what do you think here?
Yeah, I was trying to find value in Pitt here, but kind of the same thing. They're just too hard to read. They've been pretty up and down, and I don't want to put my money on them. Toronto is 5-1 at home, and they seem to play a lot better at home. They also played really good on rest. They're coming off 2 days of rest. So I don't know. I like Toronto's team total at 3.5, over 3.5 at -110. I think that's pretty good value. I could see maybe them getting an empty netter towards the end to get that 4, or even getting that early on in the third period. DeSmith has only 1 win on the road this year. So I'm going to fade him, take Toronto's team total at home.
All right. Dave, Penguins, Maple Leafs. We all know how you feel about the Leafs name, but what do you think of this game?
We should all know how I feel about Penguins too, for Christ's sake. If you don't, go back to the Getting Wild with Terry and Friends archive and look it up, see if you can find it. But I don't have the Penguins just came off a horrible losing streak and won their first game. I don't think DeSmith, looking at his numbers, I don't think he's a far fall off from, you pronounce it Jari or Yari or Jerry? How do you say his name?
Jari, yeah.
That guy. We all know how good I am with these names. But I want to see just because, I like Mario Lemieux and Jaromir Jagr from years past, so I have an affinity to the Penguins team. I have no read on this game, and with my very limited NHL knowledge and capping ability, I am staying away. I won't think about this game one more second. I won't look at the score. It's erased from my memory.
All right. Ryan, Penguins and Maple Leafs. What do you think of this one? Are you muted again?
My apologies on the muting. This is the only side that I like on today's card, and I like the Leafs in regulation. I think they've turned a corner. They only have 2 regulation losses in their last 8. Excuse me, I'm getting that wrong. They have lost only 1 game in regulation in their last 7. So yeah, they're doing pretty well. And that one regulation loss for the Leafs, that was that Arizona game, as I'm sure a lot of us remember earlier in the season. So I just like them with their strong home record here, and I think they're going to play well against an ailing Penguins team. I like Dennis Mulligan goal. I don't have that in my book. I don't have a number for that, but Sheldon Keefe seems to be dangling a promotion to the second line, and he probably deserves it. So I think he has a good game. But I like the side here on the Leafs.
All right. Painter Life says, think Jake Gensel will score one tonight. I haven't looked at what he's done lately, so I don't want to just throw out like a yes, I think he'll score tonight. But I think Crosby's going to have a big night. So in turn, that could mean that Gensel could have a good night as well. So anybody else have any thoughts on Gensel prop?
Could always look at his shots. He seems to fire the puck at high volume. I don't know if there's good value there as far as what the books are charging, but he tends to shoot the puck.
All right. Occupancy, Penguins and Maple Leafs. What do you think here?
Yeah, Terry, there's an alumni game, right? I think there's going to be some historic hockey heads in the building there, right? I'm pretty sure. I'd have to double check on that, but I thought I heard that earlier. And we kind of see that with the NHL sometimes, with banner raising ceremonies. The big game in Detroit last weekend, Marty Brodeur getting announced VP, kind of I think ruffles the trends for a lot of the prop markets. I was all over Raquel shots on goal earlier in the season. He was hitting 6 and 7 like it was no one's business. I completely left the train. I'm no longer taking any of those shot props. I mean, I think what's happening is they're playing more of a system than they were in the beginning. We see that with the NHL a lot. It's a free for all in October. It really is. Teams come out and win, and then they gotta hunker down. There's one play I'm liking in this game, and it's an interesting look, but it's Eric Shalgren under 28.5 saves at plus 100. Toronto's only letting up 27.5 shots a game. And I think with all these big people in the building, they're going to have to play tighter D. Pittsburgh, on the other hand, they're at 35 shots a game, which is high. But look at Kallgren's track record. I mean, in every game this season except for one, he's let up 3 or 4 goals. So he's like kind of this player that has to be in net, because of the injuries. The 26-year-old Swede, making, not league minimum, but not as much as everyone else around him. He's not top talent. He's just not. So I think he lets in a few goals tonight, and I think that under saves prop is where my money will be.
Yeah, occupancy. I saw something earlier today. It was an interview with Matt Sundin about the current Leafs, and I was wondering, why is he talking about the Leafs? So that makes sense then. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know the specifics, but I did hear something. I think I've heard something about that as well. We'll move on to my favorite game of the night. We have the San Jose Sharks and the Dallas Stars in this one. You can find San Jose plus 180 to plus 225. Dallas minus 225 to minus 252. Sixes, I do see 1.5 available as well in this one. When looking at previous history, Dallas has dominated San Jose. They've won the last 7 games at home against San Jose going back to 2015, 2016. Dallas has won by multiple goals in all of their wins this year. So in all 8 wins, they have covered the puck line. They're winning games convincingly when they win. When they lose, they're kind of losing games. But then you have the Sharks team on a second night of a back-to-back. The only good thing about this Sharks team for Sharks fans or whatever is Erik Karlsson. His reemergence is the only bright spot, I think, for the Sharks this year. And now they're playing on a back-to-back heading to Dallas. Jake Ottinger is scheduled to start, obviously coming off injury. It is the NHL. There could be a last-minute change to Wedgwood. That's not unheard of. But Jake Ottinger is scheduled to make the start in this one. I want to take the over because both these teams are hitting 6 every game for quite a few games. The Sharks once again did it yesterday. But for me, I think the best way to go here, especially with Ottinger being confirmed, is taking Dallas team total over 3.5, which I got at minus 120. Dallas race to 4 goals, which I got at plus 120. So it's basically the same thing as Dallas team total, except they have to score 4 first and before San Jose. And it's plus 120 instead of minus 120. So there's a huge price difference if you're able to get the race to 4. But I kind of split my bet up there. And then I like Dallas to win this game by multiple goals, as they have been. The Sharks are currently a fade team for me for the most part. Sharks have been keeping games close, but I don't think this is in some games lately, but I don't think this is a good spot for them here in this one. Kev, Sharks, Stars, what are you thinking here in this one?
Yeah, I'm in full agreement with you, Terry. I'm I'm all over Dallas here. I have watched a lot of Sharks games as I am on the West Coast, and they are very competitive. Carlson's been awesome. I'm having flashbacks from his Ottawa days, so it's pretty cool. But I'm on the puck line for Dallas. I think they handle some business at home. And I really like Jake Ottinger under 28.5 saves. And I take the under there, I think, just because of lack of volume on the San Jose side. So I think he has a pretty easy game back. And that's it for this one.
All right. Dave, Sharks and Stars. What do you think about this one?
What's the Sharks team total at? Not Sharks. What are the Stars team total at?
Minus 120 for 3.5.
Only bet I'd consider in the game. That's it. I'm uninterested in this game too, but the Stars have, at least when I bet them or when they've caught my eye, they've usually hit. And San Jose's on a back-to-back, right? So anyways, San Jose's not a good team. They're on a back-to-back. Dallas Stars have done decently for me, at least. It's only 3.5, minus 120, little juice. I'm not betting it, but if you had a gun to my head, that's my bet.
All right. Like I said, check your book and see if you can get the race to 4 because it's plus 120. Huge price difference. And the only thing
is that I was distracted. Was that when I heard race to 4? That was for the Sharks. Obviously, it's race.
Yeah, I'm on Dallas team total over 3.5 for the minus 120, but I'm also on the race to 4.
Race to 4 is probably it's probably much better.
I split the bet up. Yeah. The only way it loses is if San Jose scores 4 first.
Yeah.
Or they don't.
I like race to bets in baseball. You know that. So anyway.
Yeah, or Ryan. So yeah, like what Ryan was going to say about unless they don't get to 4, but then the team total wouldn't hit anyway. So
yeah, I do that in baseball. I have my big toe and my second toe in the NHL pool. My whole foot isn't in yet, so eventually I'll take my clothes off and jump in. But whatever.
If you back the Stars since the season opener, you're up units. So there we go. Ryan, what do you think here? Sharks and Stars.
Yeah, to some extent I disagree with the folks who are backing the Stars here because one, you can even though the Sharks are on a losing streak. A lot of those are in overtime, and also in their back-to-back games, the Sharks actually won their back-to-back game earlier this year. So you can make a case for the Sharks, and you can make a case for the draw. In the end, I don't feel strongly enough to bet it. I agree with Terry. Like I think the over is a look here because both of these teams are on over streaks. These are teams that I was playing unders on earlier in the year, but it really has changed, and they're both on over streaks. And I think what's going to happen is they're going to announce Ottinger, and then the total is going to get juiced to the under. The stat 6 is going to get juiced to the under. So I may take a plus price on the over 6 here, assuming that's what happens when Ottinger gets announced. But I have no play yet.
All right. Occupancy, Sharks and Stars. What do you think here?
Yeah, I like what people are saying. I like the look Kev gave. Ottinger. Under saves is definitely a good way to go about this game. I think he's going to be rusty. He hasn't had action since October 29th. And in that game, he let up 2 goals before he got hurt. And he's been going under that save line as well. Look, the Sharks, say what you want about them. If you had bet their team total over 2.5 in the last 5 games, you'd be 5-0. So I think, the Sharks are like, as Rye said, they're losing close games in OT, and they hit a post in a shootout. Like these are games that on the money line could have gone really either way. At the same time, Dallas is a great hockey team right now, and I'm not comfortable stepping in front of them. But the way I played Dallas last weekend with Edmonton was taking a look at their shot props. I had action with a couple shooters from Dallas. Bigger names like Robertson and Marchment, you can't go wrong with. I think Robertson is having a heck of a season after he signed his deal. Marchment, too, is a great player to bring in. And then 2 guys I look at a little, deeper in the bargain bin, Ryan Suter and Denis Gurianov. You could get plus prices for them to have over 1.5 shots. It's a different look to the game, and it's not asking a lot. but it is like, asking, second and third liners and an older defenseman to hit a player prop in the NHL. So it's a different type of look for an NHL game. But that's the way I'd go about it. For the total here, you could hope for a really, really, you got to be on it. You got to be like watching the game and have your books open. But wait maybe 2 or 3, 4 minutes into this game to get a 5.5 over, and then put the unit there, because I can't see this game going under. Like I said, I don't think Ottinger is going to be the Ottinger we've seen him. He hasn't, just the pace of the game. He's coming back from a slight injury. And Reimer on the other side, look, I mean, he's not great. He's let up at least 3-4 goals in his last 4 games. He hasn't had a win. He's an older guy. He's been around the league. He can keep them in close games. But I'd only be looking towards the over and then those props.
All right. ISX says smart, and I completely agree. That's smart occupancy to kind of wait and get the live over. Now, you do risk a goal in the first 13 seconds, which has happened this year.
Oh, definitely.
But it's the risk you take. That's what happens when you bet. But you can definitely get a much better number live if there is no goal early on. We'll move to the 4th game. And then we'll get to the quick other pick segment before getting to the best bet. Obviously, the game that I will be most watching tonight, we have the Minnesota Wild and the Seattle Kraken. You can get the Wild -111 to -125. Seattle -105 to +105. 6s and 6.5s available in this game here. I have not bet the Wild in this game. The only bet I have in this game is Kirill Kaprizov to score at +130. This, like other games on the slate, I think this is going to be a great game, but I could see this going either way. The Kraken are on a win streak, and not a team I want to step in front of, even my Wild. The Wild, on the other hand, coming off a good game against Anaheim, but it is Anaheim. Good win here against the Kraken. Obviously, would look a lot better, but the Wild will not have Jordan Greenway, who came back for 1 game, rested the 2nd game, but he is re-injured himself, so he will be out of the lineup. But Marcus Foligno will be back. There was a quote on Twitter about him today. He was playing injured. That's why Foligno has not looked like himself for most of the year before he got injured, because he was playing injured. He says he is 100% today, ready to go. He'll be on a line with Joel Eriksson and Matt Boldy. That'll be a line to watch, of course, with the Kaprizov line. But right now, Kaprizov to score, that's it for me. This game is tough to read. I could see anything happening in this one. Kev, Wild, Kraken, do you agree this will be a good game? And what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, this is going to be an awesome game. I can't wait to tune into this one. It's tough. Both teams are Minnesota starting to play some good hockey right now. They finally broke their scoring drought. I didn't know they got Moose back, so that's pretty huge for them on that second line. But Seattle's they're just a tough team to play against, and they're so fun to watch. So it's hard for me to choose a side in this one. I do lean Minnesota, but I haven't locked anything in yet. I also lean the under in this one. It's up to 6.5 now, and I really could see this being really tight and back and forth. I could see Martin Jones and Flower having a hell of a game. So I'm leaning the under on this one, and I also like Oliver Borkstrand's over 2.5 shots on goal. He's been awesome. He flies all around the ice, and I really like to watch him play. So I'm throwing some money on him, and that's it for this one.
All right. If you want to take the under, do it quick, because there are mostly 6s available now as well. The 6.5s are disappearing, mostly probably because it'll be Flower against Martin Jones. So I think people are probably taking the under, and the Wild have been going under recently. So I could see an under game. Dave, Wild Kraken, what do you think here?
I have a relationship with the Wild that's kind of like one of those marriages where you don't have enough money to get divorced type of thing. You have kids and you're forced into it. Most frustrating team in sports this year. Absolutely. I can't, if I bet off of them, if I bet against them, I mean, this stupid half a unit thing, I'll never win my money, but I'm betting the Wild because I'm being forced to. That's all I have to say about that.
Okay, to once again clarify, he's not being forced to. I said the Wild will be a profitable team at the end of the year, as they have the last 4 years, and off to a rough start, of course, but it'll work itself out. It's a long season, Dave. We're not even a quarter way through. I don't think. Anyways, I think we're just past a quarter way through. Ryan, Wild against your Kraken. What do you think here?
Yeah, a lot of agreement. I could only bet the under on this one. You know, the Wild really haven't been scoring much. I don't think they've really broken out of their slump. They're very different teams, right? So the Wild have one guy that scores, and the Kraken, like, they get scoring from all over the place. So I'm looking at props here, and I agree with Kev. Like, the Bjorkstrand over, it just looks like money. You know, I don't see that. It looks like it's going to hit. And he, in the last game, which the Kraken won 4-0, he had, I believe, 4 or 5 shots in that game. Also, Alex Wenberg for a goal is a good look. He had 2 in the last game against the Wild.
All right. Jamie Alexiak will be out for Seattle on D. I wanted to mention that earlier. One of their bigger defensemen. So we'll have to see what happens there. Occupancy, Wild and Kraken. What do you think here?
That's a good news update, Terry, because it definitely helps the angle I was looking at for the Martin Jones save prop. It's low, and I think it's low for a reason. 26.5 juiced, but I think he gets there. Minnesota averaging 32.5 shots a game. These teams met last week, and it was a 4-0 game. Minnesota only had 22 shots to Seattle's 23, so it's kind of low event there. That's why I'm a little worried about the the prop market. But like everyone's been saying, Bjorkstrand was such a great addition to the team. He's leading the team in shots. I don't think you can go wrong with taking him over 2.5. Jaden Schwartz as well. You can get plus money for him over 2.5. No one really remembers this guy. He was on the Blues. I mean, he has a cup championship, I believe. Joel Eriksson Ek on the other side. They talk really highly of him, and he's going to be, a cornerstone of this Wild team moving forward. It's funny, like, you could watch a bunch of sports and kind of get good reads as like a gambler, but I feel like if you know the game of hockey, it doesn't matter how well you know it. It doesn't make you a good gambler, which sucks, because you'd want your attention to the game to pay off. And I feel like sometimes with hockey, it just doesn't. But I tell you, I watched the third period of that Wild Kings game, and the Wild just looked like an out of playoff team. I'll be honest here. I mean, they couldn't move the puck. The Kings just put the clamp on them. Then again, they bounced back the next night, and they look like the old Wild team that we know and love. They have the talent. It's just like clicking, and I got to see the Wild go on a run before I can really start backing them again. They're a profitable team on the money line in history. So I think they can get there again, but I got to see it. I'm not going to step in front of this Kraken team who's won 5 out of 5. I'd like the team total over for the Kraken. It's heavily juiced. No feel on the total. So I think this will end up being a prop game for me, but definitely a heck of a hockey game to be tuning into on a Friday night.
All right. I will make one small comment about that Kings game. The third period, of course, Kirill Kaprizov had been unfairly ejected from the game. So that definitely had an effect to the Wild. But just because your star player gets ejected unfairly doesn't mean you should quit and not play in the third period. So I totally get what you're saying. But I do think Kaprizov getting kicked out unfairly because that intent to injure was deemed roughing, not intent to injure. So he was kicked out unfairly. I think that had a huge impact.
No, and I agree. I don't think he should have gotten kicked out of the game. And look, I mean, this team needs him, but it does, like, other players around him need to step up and do the same thing, and they need to be able to move the puck and get into the zone. And when they're not doing that, it's a yellow flag for me.
Yeah, I don't blame you. We'll move on to NBA picks. Obviously, we have a big NBA slate today. For me, I was leaning with Phoenix -7.5 in Orlando. Big road spread, so I ultimately didn't get involved. I'm tempted to take Milwaukee at the plus price. I know they have a ton of injuries, but all San Antonio has been doing is losing lately. So Milwaukee, the plus price. Ultimately, I'm not going to bet it. So if it is a trap, I'm not going to fall for it. Raptors against OKC. Lean with the Raptors, not getting involved. Minnesota and Memphis. I did bet Memphis -4. Fade the Timberwolves. Tim told me in the preseason that this team was going to be really good, and he has futures on them. I'm sorry, Tim. I think those futures are gone. As much as I'd like to see this Timberwolves team do well, they're kind of like the Cleveland Browns. I hate to say that, but they're just never really going to do anything. And they have so much expectations on them this year, not living up to it. Memphis at home -4. I'll take that. Cleveland, Golden State. I want to take Cleveland at the plus price, but Golden State plays a lot differently at home than on the road. Ultimately going to be a pass. And I wanted to take Sacramento, but I didn't take the money line when it was -125. Now it's -175, -4. I think the Kings beat the LeBron-less Lakers, but I don't want to take -4. I don't trust the Sacramento Kings to cover that amount of points right now. Kev, any thoughts in the NBA?
Yeah, well, first of all, it's just crazy how much line movement there is in the NBA. It's almost like a full-time job trying to track that in itself. But there's one game I am looking at. It's Cleveland and Golden State tonight. I love Cleveland. I've been watching them a lot this season, and they've been really fun to watch. I'm looking at their team total over 114.5. I've got them closer to like 117 or 118 tonight. So I think they can hit that one. It should be a close game, so there's potential for OT as well. So I really like them at over 114.5.
All right. Yeah, the flop isn't playing tonight. Dave, what do you think here?
Yeah, I have one game that I like, and it's my best bet, and that's the game. I don't hate that team total, primarily because Golden State gives up the third most points in the NBA, 120 a game, which is a far cry from what they were last year. They were third best at 105, so their defense is in trouble. Terry's talked about them, but I've been talking about them for years. The Cavs have put together a great team through trades and the draft, a really complete team. No superstars, but maybe rising superstars sort of thing. And they kind of look like what we think Golden State should be. They're fourth in field goal percentage and second in 3-point percentage, while Golden State's 10th in field goal percentage and 15th. So they're not shooting the ball anywhere near we expect them to. They're not playing defense. I think the books are begging, even though the line's going up. It's kind of a take Golden State as a dog at home sort of deal, I think. But I personally bet the money line. My best bet, though, on your show is going to be -2 or +2.5. Did I put -2.5? I'll go and fix it. But I got to go. So I have college plays. They're all on the index. If you want an explanation, DM me on Twitter. Thanks, Terry, for having me. Have a good day. We'll see you later.
No problem. You too. Check out Dave and myself and others possibly on the panel later on Nerd Talk, the Copper Collective at 8:30 p.m. Eastern tonight, where we'll look at games and cap them live for tomorrow's games. Ryan, NBA picks, anything you like in the NBA today?
I'm staying off the NBA card tonight.
No worries. Occupancy?
Yeah, pretty quick with the NBA. I don't cap it a whole lot, but I like to get involved with the player prop market. Here's a guy to look at. I really only look at like rebounds, to be honest. Bol under rebounds on the Magic. He cost me half a unit. earlier this week. I had him over 7.5, and he landed on 7. I think he's a player like towards the end of the game, he's just kind of too big and too slow to be in there. So I don't see him getting over that. A more, Hollywood type game with the Bucks. Is Giannis in or out? Does anyone know?
I don't know. I think he's out because Tim was saying they have a lot of injuries, so I think he's out.
Yeah. So the rebound market is really interesting in this game, actually, because they had Bobby Portis's rebound prop at 14.5. So I hammered that under. He didn't even get close. That's a lot of rebounds in general. And I took Brook Lopez over rebounds, and that hit. He had 13 last game, and they're hanging a 7 for him today again. So I'm going to be on the Brook Lopez over rebounds today, and maybe Portis under. Richie P says he's out, Giannis. So look for a couple of rebound props in that Milwaukee game.
All right. Before we get to best bet segment, other picks: college football, college basketball. I don't have any. Do any of you have any college picks? Oh, Ryan. Okay, what do you think? College.
Yeah, there's a lot of good games tonight, and actually, I think there's a better quality games than that 130 game slate we had on Tuesday. So I'm on UCSB, which tips off in about 15 minutes. The Gauchos, basically, they're bringing back their whole team from last year, so they could be pretty good. And they're playing against Fresno State, who was basically a team last year that had one guy, and the offense went through that one guy. So it was a pick 'em price earlier. Now it's moved to -2, but I think it's a good look on UCSB. I also like the Arizona team total, University of Arizona team total at 92, and it sounds like ridiculously high, but they're playing a SWAC team, Southern, and this is a Tommy Lloyd team. They're going to run. They're bringing back a lot of guys from last year. They have 3 7-footers on their roster, although I think one's not playing. This could be a sneaky team with a high ceiling. They're like number 17 now, but they should compete for the Pac-12. So I just, with a big mismatch like this, I'm not laying the 30 points, but I'm looking at the team total, and I think there's a good chance they scored 119 in the first opening game. So it's a good look on the team total. Long Beach State getting 19.5 points against UCLA. Now this is a UCLA team that did pretty well last year, and they're bringing back, Tiger Campbell, Jaime Jaquez. They've got a great team, right? And they think, they could be a Final Four team. But Long Beach State plays at Pauley Pavilion every year. This is an annual game. One team's going to get up for it. They're going to get up for it. And I just think there's too many points here. I think, I think one team's going to overlook it. And, I just think that's too many points. So those are my plays. I really don't like this. I think we're getting to, hats off to all the people who served and have served. But I think this Gonzaga Michigan State game, we're being denied a good game. Playing a game on an aircraft carrier is an abomination. Maybe the under. I'm not playing the under because I don't want to watch the game. I think it's just an abomination. Although Michigan State has played this game in the past, so I think the under and Michigan State is at look here, just because Izzo knows the drill with playing a game on an aircraft carrier. And there's a lot of good basketball tonight, but those are my picks.
Wow. I'll just bring this back down a second. They're playing on an aircraft, like the basketball game?
Yeah, they did this a number of years, and then they had a whole bunch of problems with like wind and weather, and then they stopped doing it. And I thought, well, good riddance, but now it's back. It's back. Yeah.
Wow. Yes, as Richie says, salute to the veterans. Obviously, it's Remembrance Day here and Veterans Day states. So definitely we all thank the veterans for their service. We'll go on to over-under. And Nick actually has a play in that MSC Zaga game. Ryan, he's taking the over for his over-under, over 142. For me, Dallas, team total over 3.5, -120. Tim is going Michigan State, team total over 65.5, -110. Occupancy, you're going San Jose and Dallas over 6. IceX is going Tampa Bay team total over 3.5. Dave is going COFC and UNC in college basketball under 164.5. Ryan, what do you think of for your total today? Is there one that you have?
Yeah, Arizona Wildcats team total over 92.
Nice. 92. And I'll try to find odds for that. If not, you can send them to me if I can't find any, but I should be able to find it. Kev, what do you think here? Is there a total you like today?
Yeah, I like Minnesota and Seattle under 6.5. I think I found that for minus 120.
Right. I will check the best odds of the show. I will go on to dog of the day. For me, none. No dog that I'm on today. Nick is going with Seattle Kraken. Tim is taking Denver Nuggets. Occupancy, you're going with Pittsburgh Penguins. IceX is taking the LA Lakers. Dave is taking UC Santa Barbara. Ryan, is there a dog that you like today?
No, actually, UCSB is favored now. I'm on them, but they're favored.
Oh, there's no books that have them as a dog?
I don't, I don't know, it was a pick 'em until like an hour ago. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Money has come in on them. I'm seeing down to like minus 130 for UC Santa Barbara now. Yeah, I don't know if there was an announcement or something. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's definitely good. I'll definitely check and see if there's any books that have as a dog. But dog is always plus 100 or more. Has to be plus money somewhere. That is the rules for anybody new watching. So no dog for you, Ryan?
No dog for me.
All right. Kev, any dog for you in the slate?
You said it was plus 120 or more?
Or plus 100.
Oh, plus
has to be plus money.
Oh, okay, gotcha. The Caps, I think they're the dog of the day for me.
All right. Washington Capitals. Kev. And then going on to best bet. I made it I'm kind of doubling up here. I'm taking the team total for total, and I'm taking race to 4 goals plus 120 for my best bet for the Dallas Stars. Nick is going with the LA Lakers plus 4 as his best bet. Tim is taking Bradley plus 9 from college basketball. Occupancy, you are going Darcy Kemper over 25.5 saves, minus 136. IceX is continuing his goal scoring props, and he's taking a young rookie in his first game, Matej Blumel, anytime goal, and I believe that is plus 5 something. Obviously, I'll get the odds after the show. I'll just get the odds now. Yeah, plus 500 is the best odds for that. So if you're able to get that, IceX likes Blumel anytime goal. And Dave is going with Cleveland Cavaliers plus 2.5. And I may jump on that with him. Ryan, what do you think here for best bet of the day?
Brandon Hagel, Lightning, over half a point, minus 120.
All right, so over half a point. Plus 120.
Minus.
Oh, minus 120. Okay. Perfect. Kev, what do you think here for best bet?
Yeah, I'm on Oliver Borkstrand over 2.5 shots on goal at minus 122.
Oh, see, I just was going to put Columbus. I was just typing Columbus when you said Borkstrand. Over how many shots?
2.5.
Minus
122.
Minus 122. Okay, perfect. Yeah, obviously players change teams, and when they've been with one team for a while, it takes a while, even sometimes, to get used to it. Lessman says SDSU minus 11, lock it in. They're going to the Final Four this year, in his opinion. Best of luck. Darn you, Tim. I can already see Tim's dog for tomorrow. But that is today's show. Best of luck to everybody on your bets tonight. We will have 2 shows tomorrow. And the first one for Saturday games will be at noon We'll be at 1 p.m. And then I have the Sunday show scheduled for 2 p.m. an hour later, but that's fluid. We might move till 8 at night. We'll see what works best for everybody. But make sure to tune in tomorrow. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the content, smash the like button. We appreciate all the support. If you want to find anybody, Kev, I'll add your Twitter to the description as well. But if you want to find anybody that's been on the show, make sure to check the description and follow them all on Twitter. But best of luck on your bets tonight. Let's all have a winning night, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Another episode. Getting well with Terry and friends. Have a good one, guys.